The whole point of Brexit is to diverge. I think it's time to knock it on the head, start looking for new markets, and do it as quickly as possible. Basically, on January the 1st, the UK financial services firms lost their automatic EU passport to the single market. That system was replaced with a system called equivalence. Equivalence is a form of basically regulatory approval. It's kind of the gatekeeper, and in the case of Britain, it's the UK authorities who are the gatekeeper, and in the case of the EU, it's the European Commission. Now, those decisions are unilateral. There's no court of appeal, there's no negotiation. It is just a straight down the line, should be technical, often can be quite political decision based on, roughly whether or not you think your rules achieve the same ends.
It is now clear that there are many areas where the EU is simply not prepared to even assess the UK. After 4 years, I think it is time for us to move forward as a country and do what's right for the UK.
In November, before Brexit, Rishi Sunak granted equivalence to a whole sort of slew of sectors, meaning EU firms in those sectors can come to Britain and provide services to our market. The EU did not reciprocate, and it continues not to reciprocate. Why is the EU not granting access to UK financial services firms in 28 sectors? The reason Brussels gives is that they do not want to grant equivalence until they know what the UK's plans are for future divergence. They say, with some justification, that the point of Brexit is to diverge from EU rules. In fact, I'd agree with that. If you don't diverge from EU rules, there is no point in Brexit. But the EU wants to know exactly how we will diverge from these rules before granting equivalence. That ignores a couple of things. One, it's quite unusual for governments to give other governments advance sight of their future policy, I would suggest. Two, the EU knows what the standing sort of status quo is. There haven't been any big changes to financial services regulation yet. In many ways, it is kind of natural for them to want to try and control and hem in the decisions which are made, because those decisions could have ramifications on EU businesses. The fact is, if you're looking at this from a Brussels point of view, you have post-financial crisis, the sudden emergence of one of the world's largest financial centres, and you're no longer in control of it. Nevertheless, there is no reason for Britain just to stand there and wait to be granted equivalence. And there is no reason either for Britain to, hand out a roadmap for its future policy agenda to an organisation which it is no longer a member of. The City of London is already in a position of strength. It is a place people want to go. It is a place with significant financial infrastructure. It is the only place really you can raise significant amounts of capital in the global markets in Europe. It is a fun place to visit. Everyone speaks English. All of these things matter when you think about it in a global context. The trade-off of Brexit is there's only one of us now. Okay, that means we have less influence, but it also means we can move quicker. You've got to move quicker, you've got to be smarter, you've got to be swifter, you've got to regulate better than Brussels. The gamble of Brexit, and the city, a lot of people say that they're gamblers. So come on, it's time to roll the dice, and it's time to win. If there's one sector which should be nimble, fast-moving, adaptive, the city should be able to do it. We don't have access to the EU's market. That has a cost for consumers. So what are we going to do? Are we going to stay waiting, or are we going to try and recoup it somewhere else? Because I tell you, I see no political will in Brussels whatsoever to move on this. It is in British interests to move and start adapting the legal and regulatory framework for financial services in this country in order to maximise its global opportunities.